I'm Mihai. I'm from Budapest. I graduated at Miami Ed School, New York as an account planner. During and after the school, I was struggling to find valuable insights. Now, I travel to Dubai and Singapore to find out how some of the best planners from different parts of the world find insights and develop brand strategies.
Bit too much mythology around the insight. So I think the doctrine of planning and of kind of the communications industry loves to celebrate the insight retrospectively. I would caution against the golden insight that you never quite discover or that you struggle to find.
Of an obsession with insights and you know how as planners we always got to find that moment of truth and then craft a big idea or the proposition around that insight.
New information that reframes an existing problem that couldn't be solved initially. That is what an insight is.
It's based around a fact, a truth. But what is interesting is when you look for the little nuances in that fact or the truth, and that's what lends you with an insight.
The truth of an insight is where its power lies, not necessarily in its originality. Insofar as I think you can look at examples of great work rooted in deeply simple insights actually. You're pretty familiar with that famous Cadbury's Gorilla ad, right? You go, chocolate gives you a feeling of happiness. I don't know how much digging or how much data you need to get to that, or whether you could ask a 4-year-old and they could tell you. But the beautiful power of that lies in its simplicity and its truth.
For example, I'm not a big believer of surveys. I don't like the stats that come from surveys. In Saudi, you have 90 million YouTube views a day. I believe that because that is not an opinion, right? But then if you come and tell me, oh, 30,000 people said that they like Kit Kat. That's incredibly opinionated. I cannot take it for true.
There's no amount of desk research that will be able to tell you this. A lot of it is just going down to the ground, observing the behaviors, understanding and talking to people and then finding out, hey, that's actually pretty interesting. Yeah.
Important to speak to as many people as possible before you even get into any kind of focus group or before you see any data reports, any quantitative study.
But interesting ideas, interesting directions often come from simply asking, I think, the obvious questions.
If you find your products at a 7-Eleven, then you go to a 7-Eleven and you speak to people who pick that product up.
I think talking to real consumers, talking to people who are involved in the brand, talking to people who don't like the brand.
Instead of telling her things like, tell me how do you spend your money? I don't want to do that, right? It's like, if I give you $500, what will you do? If I give you $1,000, what will you do? If I give you $10,000, what will you do? Now I get to learn about her spending habits. Does she save the money? Does she give it away? Does she party? Does she have kids? Right?
And I literally just sat at the coffee shop, I bought a drink, and I just started observing people. And after observing, once in a while when I noticed something interesting, I would actually go and talk to them.
Is to have immense curiosity, being extremely curious about everything there is in the world.
And you have to have that innate curiosity. If you're innately curious, then you'll talk to your cab driver, you'll talk to the people around you, you'll ask your neighbors questions.
Go for coffee, go for a drink, let's hang out, let's have a good time. And we just talk. The further down you break barriers, the more you get to find out about people, right?
Being outside of office is very important. I don't think planning can happen inside the office all the time.
There's also something like, if all the planners are reading for the same stuff, for example, related with planning, so how can you differentiate yourself by the way of your thing? I think you should look for something different, but still related. Yeah.
As a planner, you bring is yourself. And I think it's so easy to think of the professional discipline of planning like being an accountant or a lawyer, where it's about you at your desk doing a thing and trying to do it better than the next person. The reality is the best planning comes from real life. We've all got totally unique experiences. That should be the ultimate kind of sense check, and the ultimate source, I think, is real life. What do you know? What do you see on a day-to-day basis?
You really just have to be a consumer of tons of culture, right? And people who find wonderful insights are comedians, right? Comedians, they'll find a funny thing, a quirky thing that happens in your everyday life, and they make jokes about it, right? And those are really, a lot of the funny things that come out of that are true human behaviors, right? And that's essentially what you're looking for in an insight, is a really true human behavior.
So just watch a lot of stand-up comedy, and these people, they have a twist on things. So they see things and they exaggerate them, and they're very insightful to me.
You know, on Instagram you see memes, and a meme is what? It's 10 or 12 words on a page. They have the power to elicit emotion out of you, right? So whether they make you laugh or you read it and you just say, that's so me, or that's so much like my friend that I know, or, you know, there's very true human insights in that.
I find, just in general, watching YouTube videos and whatever that comes out on Facebook to be pretty interesting as well, because you've got a lot of people producing pretty good content out there, and these are the people who obviously have got followers because they know how to get viewers to watch the videos.
And then just also looking at cultural shifts, right? So what are the kind of changes that you're seeing in behavior in terms of culture?
The big sort of paradigm, and it is a contradiction, is on the one hand a genuine open-mindedness to learn, to discover, to find, and on the other a genuine point of view of their own. You know, a set of beliefs, a set of values, they know where they're coming from. And clearly an ability to in some way sort of balance those two slightly contradictory elements, yeah.